everyone. I hope everyone's having a good snow day today. This will be the nail maintenance video for your pets at home. We're going to be going through the nail anatomy, the tools we'll be using, and we will have Callisto here for a demonstration on how to clip and file. Let's get started.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be talking about the nail anatomy. So we can have some biological information, you know, before we start getting into nail trimming and filing. So as you can see with this picture, it's a good demonstration. So we can see the nail bone, the nail bed, the insensitive wall of the claw, the notch, the sole, or you can call it the crumbly sole of the claw. I just call it the sole, and right there is the pad. So when you're looking at the insensitive wall, what that means is there are no nerve endings there. So right where you see the first cut angle, you can cut that all you want. It's the nail bed you have to be very careful with, because that's where the nerves are going to start and where all the blood would be. And I also like that they showed the notch in this one, because I usually look for the notch, especially in black nails, to where I can cut. Usually where the thickest part of the nail is where the nail bed and the bone and all the blood is. And as it gets thinner, that's just a wall of claw that has no nerves or anything. So I always try to look for that notch right there to figure out where I can cut on black nails. And if we look at it straight on, you can see right here too, the angles from the front where you're clipping, still the insensitive wall, the growth out nail bed, the sole horn, and the sole just straight on. But this one looks much better to give you an idea of what we're dealing with. Alright, so before that one, I wanted to go through this one too. So in this demonstration, you can see on the first picture, the blood supply quick. That's where the blood is, and then that's just the nail on the outside. The number 2 picture is showing you how the quick does grow longer as the nails stay outgrown. So the blood vessel will start seeping down into where the insensitive wall is. And that's what you have to be very careful with, because that's where people will start cutting into the blood, not knowing that the blood vessel has already grown out. So you have to look for that kind of stuff. White nails on dogs, you can see it better. I think everybody knows the little pink blood vessel there. It's the black ones you have to be very careful about. When I am clipping, you will see a white dot if you look at the nail straight on, and that's a good indicator of you're getting close to the blood vessel. A good tip for that. So if you clip or file a little bit off the long nail every few days, the blood supply will continue to recede. So that's the good thing about it. You don't have to deal with long nails for the rest of your life if you just keep clipping it slowly back, making it bleed just at the tip. It'll start to recede all the way back to where it's supposed to be. And then looking at the second row here, as the nail gets shorter, so does the blood supply. Like I just said, you can see it'll start going back. I don't know, stay still. Only when the nail is kept short can it be trimmed without bleeding. If the same cut has been made on the longer nail in number 2, it would have caused bleeding. So as you can see, you see how if we look back up at where this blood vessel is, if we would cut just like we are down at the bottom here, you would definitely have gotten that blood vessel and you would have had a mess. And that's just a properly trimmed nail right there. That's how they're supposed to look on the diagram. Their blood vessels at a nice length. Their nails have a nice shell around it, protecting it. So that's what I do with the nails I deal with. You know, I just get the tip of it. If they are really long, I just get the tip of the blood and we just start working it back. And it does take time. I'd like to address that. It doesn't happen overnight. The blood vessel isn't just going to go boop right back to where it is. It actually takes months to get it back to a properly trimmed nail at a good length. It's not causing your dog any discomfort or anything like that. And also with these long nails, I'd like to say that it's kind of like the dog is wearing a shoe size 10 times smaller than what they're supposed to be wearing. So just to give you an idea of how it feels on your dog to have such long nails, it just feels like they're wearing shoes that are way, way too tight on them. So that's why it's always good to have properly trimmed nails and giving them a more pleasant experience while walking instead of being in discomfort all the time. So right here I found a good diagram for cutting if we're using the clippers. So as you can see, oh man, I can't zoom in. Oh well, sorry guys. I was going to zoom in, but the right way to do it is at a sloping angle, pointing away from the nail and going in a downward. Now this is where I would find that notch and go just a little bit down and then cut all that off. The wrong way, I've seen some people do this too, is pointing it in the upward direction. You don't want to do that because you're going to probably hit that blood vessel. You see how close you're getting? It's always safer to point away instead of up. And dangerous, of course, just making a straight line. You do not want to do that because your dog's nails don't grow straight anyway. They curve. So you want to have it at a downward away angle because that's the way your dog's nail grows anyway. It doesn't grow up and it doesn't grow straight. So just think of it that way. Alrighty, so that's good for the demonstration. I hope that kind of helped everybody get a more understanding on the anatomy. And we will go through the tools next. Let's go.
All right, guys. So these are the tools and supply that I use for clipping and filing nails. And maybe some of this stuff might look familiar to you, but I'm going to go through everything in case maybe something looks kind of weird and you don't know what it is. So we're going to start from left and go right. So what we have here is, flip it up, the Dremel 7700 series or 7700 series, however you want to say it. These are the typical Dremels you will find that people like groomers and vets use, is the Dremel brand. And it comes with a detachable battery with a charger. And there are different series. So anything lower than this Dremel would be a little less power. Anything more would be more power. But I'm pretty sure this is the highest detachable Dremel power for the detachable battery ones. And when I first started grooming, I had the 7300 series, which was a little less powerful for starting out, and that's what I recommend a lot of first timers getting into Dremeling to use instead of going for a more high power until you get used to the vibration in your hand and the feel of it. Then you can bump up to something more powerful. But this is a good go-to one that I like to go to. All right, and then this one, as you can see, does not have a detachable battery. It plugs in and charges. And this one has more power than the battery, like I said. So when you get to more and more powered Dremels, you'll see that they don't have a detachable battery that they plug in, or they have a cord that you plug into the wall. But anyway, this one has way more power, and it goes up from level 5 to 25. See? But it's, I really like this one because it comes with a light at the tip, so I can see the nails better as well. The detachable battery Dremels do not have a light, but I like this more. It's actually surprisingly more lighter than this one. It feels nice in my hand. It has a nice grip, rubber grip on the end, so you can hold it nicely and Dremel. And you guys can get this one too, since it can go so low instead of getting a Dremel like this. Since you can start out at 5 and then work your way up as you get used to the feel of it. I usually stay between the 15 and 20. I've never had to go to the 25. But usually between 15 and 20 is where I go personally. And it gets those nails nice and filed. And on the Dremel, sorry for a little bit of hair and nail grindings, you can see. But anyway, what I use at the tip is just your regular sanding Dremel sander. They do have finer ones, but I see that they don't last as long as the rougher grits. The more grits you have, the more finer it is. So I think this one was a 60 grit, and it's more, it lasts longer and it has more grit to it. So it's not like I go through one Dremel head per dog. That would be just a waste of money, really. But anyway, I get the 60 grit one. And you can find that at your Walmart or your Lowe's or Home Depot. This Dremel I actually ordered off of Amazon. So if you wanted to look that up and buy this one, it's nice. And I feel like even for first time people, this will be a good Dremel too. It's really light, like I said, and you can change your power and go up as you get used to everything. And you got a nice little light so you can see what you're doing. Alrighty. So these are the filing tools, the Dremels that file your dog's nails and gets them nice and round. Now we'll be talking about the clipping. And if you're a dog owner, you've probably seen these clipping tools before. But I'll just go through it just in case. So I've had this one for ever since I started grooming. This is just the go-to kind of nail clipper for your dogs. It's got nice, you know, a rubber handle, so it's easy to hold on to and you're not slipping all over the place. And you just, you know, you put your little dog's nail in there and you clip it right off. And I'll show you guys later what technique to use at what kind of angles you would hold them at and all that stuff on Callisto later on. But this is what I would use for a bigger dog, so large dogs with thick nails. This is the best one for. It'll cut easier. Now these ones are little tiny clippers, as you can see, and if you can imagine, these are for your smaller dogs and cats. And these are nice because they're just like scissors, so you're used to putting your fingers where they're supposed to be, like scissors. You know what I'm saying? But I like these two for the smaller dogs and the cats because you got more handle on them. And it's just like the same. Put the nail in. But I'll show you what angle to use them at and everything later on Callisto. Alright. And last but not least, we have the
trusty Quick Stop Septic Powder. This is used if you get that quick by accident. This stuff will clog up the blood, so it's not going to be bleeding everywhere. See, it's just like a little powder. I like the powder more. They do come with a liquid one, and I really don't like that one. The powder is so much better, so if you could just get powder, that's great to have on hand, just in case you get the tip of that quick. And sometimes you can, sometimes I get it too, but it's just the fact of life, because the quicks, as you'll see in the anatomy, they grow. So sometimes it'll be not there when you're clipping, and then if you've waited too long to clip your dog's nails and the quick's grown, it'll be where you clipped last time. So, but it's a good thing to have on hand in case you do quick your dog, and like it says, cause bleeding on nails and all the little minor stuff. It's good. I even use it like if I accidentally cut myself with my shears, just like a little cut, I just put that stuff on it, boom. Don't even need a Band-Aid. Alrighty. Well, anyway, that includes the tools that I use and what you'll probably be using too on your dog's nails. All right, let's get to the demonstration then. All right, so this one is for the clipping. As you can see, I'm using these small ones. She's kind of used to me clipping them, but she's more used to the Dremel. But I'm going to show you how I clip. So I try to get it as zoomed in as possible so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about here. So as we can see the nail, and if we remember from the diagram, we're looking for that notch, but you can't really see hers too much, but it's like right in there. You can kind of feel where that notch is starting right there, but I keep her nails pretty short, so her notch isn't that big and noticeable. But you can see that she's got black nails too. And move y'all over here. So I always look for where it starts to get thin, but I know with some of these nails you can't really tell because hers is so close, and you can tell by her little white nail how close I am with the quick. But I would take the clippers. I'm not going to clip her nails because I'm already too close anyway, but I would take them like this. And remember, you're pointing downward, going like that. And so you find it and you point down and you tip it and you clip it, you know, just like that. Alright guys, so this will be how to file nails. I use the Dremel in my right hand because I'm right hand dominant, but if you're left hand dominant, you know, you just, you know, switch hands than what I'm doing. So with my left, I always hold the paw. You'll see me extend the toe so it's separate from the other, so I can focus on one nail at a time. And you'll see that when I'm with my thumb and pointer finger. So you see right now. And as you see, I kind of separate it from the rest so I can just get in there with the Dremel. And I put my right thumb on my left thumb to give me stability so I'm not jumping around everywhere either. And I also Dremel upwards to give it a nice round finish. And you won't have any sharp edges as you do it that way. But you see how I go from the middle, then I go up the sides, and then I go in the middle one more time. And that's just so I'm getting all the sharp edges all over the place. Just like that. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's going to take you some time to get used to the motion of it. So just take your time. You don't have to rush through anything, and hopefully your dog will stay still for you. But I know how some dogs are. They can't, you know, that feeling that vibration gets them kind of jumpy. And what I like to do with jumpy dogs to get them used to it is I'll actually take my hand and I'll actually rub their leg and their foot that I'm about to mess with for like maybe 30 seconds or maybe 20, something like that, just so they know I'm about to, like, you know, mess with it. That gives them fair warning. And just taking it slow and going each nail one at a time until your dog gets used to it, and then you can start working up speed and power and all that kind of stuff. It just takes time, that's all. But you can see just how good Callisto is. I've been doing her since she was 8 weeks. When she was a puppy, I did her once a week. Yeah, so she learned real quick. So it's just getting them on a schedule too will help get them in the motion and also get them desensitized into getting their nails done as well. Also, a great training tip, if you didn't know this already, I tell all my clients, use an electric toothbrush at home. And just, use the little bristle brush and just go to each and every nail. That'll get them used to the vibration on their nail. So that's a fun little tip you can do at home to get them used to it as well. But anyway, so that just kind of concludes filing. I'll let it go one more time. See if I remember anything else I need to tell you. Also, to say that I feel like dremeling is like the safest way to do your dog's nails, because you're not risking you accidentally cutting into the quick. You're actually just slowly filing back to where it starts getting thick, like I showed you in the diagram earlier with the anatomy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just what I do on every nail.
Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us today for the nail maintenance video. I hope you gained some great knowledge for nail trimming your pet's nails at home safely. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And thank you, Callisto, for being our little star today and putting up with getting your nails done for everybody. And she was happy to do it for y'all, even though she wasn't really happy. Anyway guys, I'll catch y'all later and have a great rest of the day. Bye.